Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fortress Comic News, episode 310. I am one of your hosts, Chris, alongside my co-host here, Mike. What's happened today, Mike?
Nothing much, man. Feet are a little sore from walking around PAX this weekend, from standing in lines, but it was a pretty solid experience again this year.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
jealous. Wargroove 2
yeah,
was there. Love that series.
yeah. I will say, Nintendo is a little disappointing this year. So PAX is the big gaming convention for people who don't know, held in PAX East is held in Boston, but played a lot of cool indie games, bought a lot of physical like Switch games that I was there for, like special editions, exclusives, things like that. Bought a lot of dice that I didn't need, a lot of D&D stuff, of course. Um, but my friend that I went with, the thing that he loves to do all like the blind bag dice, like he's a sucker for that shit, like
Mm-hmm.
mystery bags here and there, and and they had this dangerous thing this year, which this booth sold out. Well, they always have the booths that are like they're like boxes, but they're themed boxes, and you pay like $60, and it'll have like Dragon Ball Z or Harry Potter, and like I'm too scared to buy those because like I saw someone opening one, and it was like one figure, like a travel mug, and like some little things, and I'm like, it's definitely not worth the price. Um, but they had one this year that was a board game booster box. So it was a box like I don't know, probably the size of like you could probably stack a few board games in there for like $50, and it guaranteed had $100 worth of stuff, whether it was like played before, opened before, slightly damaged, that type of thing. And he got one of those, and it was funny because he got to walk around with this big box for the rest of the day. But like that was the ultimate like gambling thing, was like a box full of board games. But no, he opened it up and there was like some cool games in there that we never heard of that you wouldn't like find on the internet and stuff. So I'd say it was worth it. Like I was pleasantly surprised with that.
That's cool.
Nintendo showed up. They're like everybody was excited for Breath of the Wild 2. There was no demo, anything. There was a statue of Link, and what they did was they're handing out pins every morning, and they were only giving away like 100 pins. So it's like, Nintendo, what are you doing?
More
Um,
importantly,
yeah,
was Advance Wars 1 and 2 rebooted? Whatever it's called. There.
no,
Fuck Zelda. Advance Wars is coming out.
yeah,
Nintendo, get your shit
right.
together.
No Advance Wars. So the two booths they had, right? They had a Nintendo versus Arcade, which everybody was waiting in line for, which is just current Nintendo games out that you could play, like Mario Party and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
No idea why you'd want to wait in line for hours to play that. Then the other booth was the Pokemon Playtest Lab, where you play the physical card game for like 20 minutes, and they give you like an exclusive 30 card booster deck to take with you. Where
That's
that
cool.
line you'd be waiting for hours,
Yeah.
and I mean like the cards are up on eBay for $100, $120 at the time because people are just grabbing them and selling them. That was okay. I mean, like, I have no interest in doing that because we pretty much spent all our time in the lines for indie games. So, like, we went on Friday because that's not as busy as Saturday typically. But I got to visit Yacht Club. Those are the guys who did Shovel Knight,
Yeah.
and I played their new game Molina. That was really good.
Game looks dope.
Um, yeah, Chris is a big fan of Chucklefish. Chucklefish has got some always the art for their games is always beautifully done. Uh, I will say the one that surprised me the most is the publisher developer called Daedalic. They're actually doing the new. So there's a new Lord of the Rings game coming out, and I didn't know this till I got there, where you play as Golem.
Oh yeah, you didn't know about that?
No, I had no idea, and I got to play it, so that was a lot of fun. And like the story is like it takes place in like Golem is like in Mordor being tortured, like how he got around and all that shit. So that's pretty cool. Um, but they had some other interesting games there too. Yeah, it was just a lot of fun. And the games like the guys who did Crypt and the Necrodancer have a bunch of new games coming out. So and there's definitely booths that are better efficient at getting people through the line to play the game. Like some, they start a timer for 15 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
which I love those booths because some other ones I'm waiting like 30, 40 minutes and the people are like playing and then they set their controller down and they look at their phone for like 5 minutes and then they're still playing. It's like eventually the booth person had to be like, okay, you got to get moving. Um, And then like games like Dead Island 2 probably would never have played it that day because the line was so long. But it looks like Dead Island 1, so spoilers, at least from what I saw. But yeah,
Kind of
overall
what
it's a
I
good
expect
experience.
from it.
This year is like the bigger people came back. Square Enix wasn't even there. There was a panel for Final Fantasy 16, and that was it. I think originally they made like everybody think they were going to bring a demo, but it was like when you walked in the front door, it was like the clothing collaboration between Nike and Final Fantasy was like the only thing they had, and people are like, "Is this it?" Like, uh, and then the fun part was the Nintendo van or the Super Mario's plumbing van showed up throughout the days, like parked out front from the movie, and was like handing out keychains and stuff. I didn't go see it, but I guess it was parked out there both days, which is cool. Which makes me
Sounds fun.
wonder if it's a like human physical van. How's that? Is that movie going to be like he's an actual plumber that gets sucked into a pipe? Like, I wonder how they're going to do that.
I
Yeah,
mean, that's kind of how the Super Mario Brothers Super Show went.
yeah, right, exactly. So maybe they'll do that in the beginning. Overall, good time. Uh, Next year you'll be there, hopefully. So it's a good time.
Yeah. Speaking of that movie actually comes out, like, my best friend is a huge Nintendo fan. It comes out on his birthday.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so he's like all excited because I'm gonna be in Florida during his birthday, but he's
Oh
all
okay.
excited because him and a bunch of our friends are all going together, and that's his big birthday celebration.
Nice. And next, oh sorry everybody, I was talking about PAX. We do have an interview today. Daniel Martinez will be on the show.
Talk
Um,
about no contest.
yeah, I'm gonna talk about no contest. If you're into fighting and lawyers and comic books, this is the book for you. I think.
Indeed,
Uh,
a lot
yeah.
of MMA, a lot of lawyer talk. It's
Yep.
like Daredevil if he could see and didn't fight crime.
And actually was a fighter, was instead of just a boxer. I don't know where along the lines of boxing you learn how to flip over buildings and shit, but yeah. I know he was trained. Don't come at me. He was trained by Stick or whatever.
Yeah, stick trained him, dude. Chill
Yeah,
the fuck
okay.
out, all right?
All right, all right. I'm not
Who
coming at
trained
you.
Batman, huh?
Yeah, money, capitalism. He bought all his training. Yeah, so looking forward to that. Uh, Dude, I can't wait for I'm next weekend. Hopefully, going to see Dungeons and Dragons. Super pumped to go see that.
Yeah, I'll be going to see that. Me and my father are going to see it together, so I'm really stoked.
I actually know somebody that went this weekend, so I'm gonna text him and see how he liked it.
It's getting people are liking it. It's getting good reviews.
Yeah,
Friend of
John
mine
Wick.
read the prequel novel
Oh, nice!
and really
Wow.
enjoyed that. He said the character's really cool. He liked how the novel was handled. So
So
he's much more of a
it,
D&D lore nerd
okay,
than either of us
yeah,
are.
yeah,
But
yeah. There's some shit that goes on in the Nether Deep that I don't know about.
I
Um,
don't want to know about.
I don't want to know what happens in the Nether Deep stays in the Nether Deep. Water Deep is free range. What happens in Water Deep it does not stay in Water Deep. That shit gets around.
Yeah,
Especially if you're going through the that in that one in that's like in between all dimensions and space and time. Um, the Yawning Portal, I think it is Yawning Portal in or some shit like that. Anyways, we won't talk about D&D lore. We'll talk about TV news. We got a Sweet Tooth
well,
season 2
before
trailer.
we start
Oh,
there,
oh yeah,
because
yeah. Okay.
Mike's not reading the notes.
Sorry. Oh yeah, next week's episode. Sorry everybody, we
So
have to talk about next week's episode.
as I mentioned, I'll be in Florida next week, so I will not be around to record an episode. But I already recorded an episode, so it's fine. So
What?
episode 311 is going to drop as normal. There will not be an interview, but there are special guests. So I sat down with a couple of YouTubers in the comic space, Bearded Comic Bro, Greg from Bearded Comic Bros, Cole from Cole's Comic Claims, and Blake from Blake's Buzz. And we attempted to do a couple topics and talk about them and have a good time. We did sort of talk about those topics. It ended up being a just a good time of four guys who had a lot in common, bullshitting.
Nice.
But I think you'll all like it, so it'll be something special for next week while I am on vacation.
Look at that. This guy is doing work. So much deserved vacation for Chris next week.
I'm really excited for it, and I'll be down at MegaCon too if anybody's down there.
Nice.
Want to say hi? I'll be there
Cool.
harassing people, mostly Travis Gibb.
I was gonna say mostly Gib.
But Jonathan Hedrick will be down there too.
Oh yeah, give
Give
them
him a
all
harassment.
high fives from me.
Yeah.
Tell them you're
So
doing good work. Um, yeah, that's awesome, man. MegaCon's gonna be sick. Are you gonna meet Sam Raimi?
I don't know if I'll be beelining for Frank
Frank
Miller
Miller. Oh
100%.
yeah, Frank Miller over Sam Raimi for sure.
Um, he doesn't listen to the show, so I'm not worried about spoiling this, but I'm going to attempt to get Jeff Johns to do something for a friend and comic retailer.
Oh
So I'm gonna try to talk to him just to do something nice for our friend who's
wow,
a huge Jeff Johns fan. And yeah, walking around. Hopefully Donnie shows up so I can confirm in real life that he is still living and doing good.
that's good.
And yeah, I've
Nice,
got a
that'll be
list of
sick.
people I'm gonna go see, but
I can't wait to hear about that. That'd be
yeah.
awesome. All right. Now that I've thoroughly read the notes and I saw a discuss next week episode. I thought it was notes for us personally and not for the show, but it was for
Oh
everyone.
yeah.
I sometimes look at the notes. There was a season 2 trailer for Sweet Tooth. Looks like shit's going down this next season. Like the humanoid animal people are going to be fighting back. I guess some
Yeah.
sort of rebellion is starting. I honestly don't remember how this goes in the comics at all.
I
To be
remember
honest,
vaguely like them being in this like thing and that dude with the phenomenal beard
yeah, the evil
um
guy. He's
do
great. That actor's great.
doing
So,
science, doing evil
hmm
science.
hmm
It looks really good, but what this trailer really did for me, other than just be like re-excite me for this, because I thought it was a phenomenal trailer,
yeah,
was remind me that I have no fucking clue what happened in season one. And I need to rewatch it before it starts.
yeah. I didn't even see Big Man in there at all in the trailer. Maybe I missed him. Was he in it?
Big man.
What's his
Big
name?
man wasn't the football player, was he?
Yeah, him.
Yeah, he's in there. I saw
Oh,
him.
he
Yeah.
is. Okay.
Yep.
So I'm sure we'll see them reunited by the end of the season, at least. So
Yeah. It seems like there's gonna be two story arcs. It's gonna be Big Man and like people trying to save the kids, and then what the kids are going through.
we
Kind
see
of.
some other interesting characters, like weird, apocalyptic style people.
Yeah. Some elephant people. Some good stuff. I'm really excited this is back. I'm
Yeah.
excited to kind of dive back into season one. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
True. Mandalorian episode 4. What do you got for me?
Mike, you're behind
I,
again.
I know. I heard it was good.
It is. So basically, some Mandalorian kid gets captured by a dragon,
Oh shit!
and they have to save him.
Like a real dragon?
It's like a giant bird thing. It's not really a dragon, but it's pretty
Still,
much a dragon. It
still
doesn't
cool.
like shoot fire, but it gets taken to its nest, and we find like little mini bird things.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, this bird thing was feeding these Mandalorian children to its babies, which was
Cool.
pretty fucking dark.
Yeah.
Obviously, the kid does not get eaten; they save him. But a lot of good action. I liked the camaraderie of the Mandalorians and how
Mm-hmm.
Bo-Katan's kind of getting into the fold, and she's just kind of going along with the creed and all of that. Going along, get along. And then there's the side story, which is Grogu being left at the camp and what he has to kind of go through. And he gets his first piece of Mandalorian armor uh, as part of his training. So now he's going to start training to be a Mandalorian, is kind of the thing.
Get him a jetpack. Hell yeah. Let's go.
So, yeah. And that's why I kind of have come around to the idea that the, the name of the series is The Mandalorian. I think Grogu is the Mandalorian. I don't think it's Mando.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think this
Yeah.
whole show is about the ascension of Grogu, which is very interesting. I love the episode altogether was great. The
Mm-hmm.
ending was really funny and what they did there. I won't spoil that, but it was good. The only thing I'll say is, man, there's a lot of green screen in this episode, man.
Is there all
So
green screen?
there's a lot of them on their jetpacks, like flying around.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
while it's really good,
Hmm.
I'm just getting there's so much of it now in what I consume because what I consume is Star Wars and Marvel
Yeah.
that I can see CG like it's no one's business anymore. Like it's just,
Yeah. It's yeah.
but it's well done. It is. But yeah, you could tell they're on a green screen. Like
I mean, we got to be to the point where we can just get them real jetpacks and film that shit. Like, I don't know why we.
yeah,
What the
I was
fuck?
supposed to have flying cars by now.
Yeah, that's what
The
we were
Jetsons
promised.
lied to me.
The Jetsons lied. That's awesome. Yeah, I just need to catch up. I will say there's been a show that's taking place right now. I got a free 3 months for Apple TV. I've been watching Ted Lasso, and that show is absolutely phenomenal. Not comic related, amazing show.
Just signed up for Apple TV for like the
You'll
free 2 weeks
yeah, watch Ted
because I want to
Lasso.
watch Tetris.
Oh, Tetris too, but you'll love Ted. Do you
Yeah.
know this? Do you know like the story behind Ted Lasso?
I know very little about Ted Lasso other than he's like a soccer coach.
So he's a football coach, American
This
football.
is Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, so he's an American football coach, and basically the owner of the soccer team gets divorced from her cheating husband and wants to run the soccer. She gets the soccer team in the divorce and wants to run it into the ground. So she hires him to coach the team,
Hmm.
and he's just like such a lovable guy that he's like infectious. And it's such a great story because like the players all the characters are amazing. You know, it's like him being the happy-go-lucky American, and all the British people are like very bitter. And it's just like they're short episodes. I think there's 2 seasons out. Third season's out right now, coming out. But it's like hard not to love all the characters. Yeah, it's
Sorry
awesome.
for interrupting you there, but I immediately went into my anger when you said football because I thought you
Yeah.
meant soccer.
No, no, no.
This is
I meant
America,
American.
everybody.
Yeah,
In
yeah,
America, we say soccer.
yep, yeah. And
When I go
that's the
to
whole.
when I
Yeah,
leave America, I will say football or whatever. But here, it's soccer, played by our rules. All right,
yeah. Literally
that's my
everywhere. If you go anywhere besides the U.S., it's
yes.
football. Yeah,
These are the rules we live by. This is
but
my
that's
angry American moment.
why you like the show, because the first he doesn't know anything about soccer, so like the first 4 episodes is like him trying to figure out what they're doing in the game and like everything they're talking about. So it's and all the fans like hate him. So they call him a wanker, and then he's like trying to figure out what a wanker means and all this. Oh, it's great.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
think you really
I'll
like
check that
it.
out.
Yeah. Um, movie news. After all the teases from Zack Snyder, we know what it's all about. On April 28th through April 30th, he's holding a gathering known as SnyderCon. During this event, they'll be screening his DC Entertainment Universe trilogy, cinematic DC, yeah, whatever, trilogy for the fans. So that's it. He's doing a screening for everybody, and pretty cool that he's got his own con.
This is all to sell tickets to a film festival.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's all it is.
what I love about this though is I've grown to hate the Restore the Snyderverse people on
Hmm.
Twitter,
Oh yeah, they're the
and
worst, to be
they're
honest.
so angry right now about this. Like, this was it. This is what we do. How this we were fighting for you, and it just makes me
Oh my
so
god.
happy because I knew all along.
Yeah,
I'm like, it's guys. Did you
just
really
drop it.
think he was going to come back to DC? Like,
They're like, David Ayer is our real king. Let's go root for him. No,
oh
stop.
God, can I? I'll get this off my chest. There was a because that's all. It's a screening for the Snyderverse stuff. Nobody
Yeah,
cares. Um,
but
there was
I mean,
a. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to say, how does this? How does Zach have does Zach have the rights to those movies? Because like, how is this not orchestrated by WB? Like,
And
they think it's for him, but like WB's getting the money here, right? Like,
I'm sure WB is going to cut, but I'm sure he had
yeah,
permission from WB. No, he doesn't own shit.
yeah. I was gonna say Warner. Like they're gonna. Oh, we gotta support Zach. Warner Brothers is getting the money here, folks.
No, like we'll talk about it later, but
Yeah.
that's why he's going so hard on Rebel Moon is like this is kind of a thing that he owns finally. And it
Okay.
can be like something possibly.
Okay.
So yeah, I gotta get this off my chest. So there was
Yeah.
a report that James Gunn was talking with Ayer about doing something with that movie,
yeah,
and I, as much as I don't like the Snyder, like restore the Snyderverse people, the release the Ayer cut people, like they're not as like much of dicks online and everything, so I don't like dislike them. I just think they're misguided because that
yeah.
movie is such a pile of shit. Everybody just accept what it
You,
is.
you don't fix Carol Delevingne being a terrible actress. I'm sorry. The David Ayer cut won't fix that.
It's I it reminds me of like people talking video games that don't know video games.
Yeah.
And like I don't know video games that like extremely well. I think I'm like above average the
Mm-hmm.
normal people. But when I hear people say certain things, and I'm like, you don't understand how games are made. So your criticism is invalid because you just don't understand what's happening here. And
Yeah.
I feel that way about people who now in this like release cuts world that we live
Mm-hmm.
in. Like they think if we
Right.
just edit it the right way, it'll finally be good. It's like no.
That's not
Like
how it works.
even the Snyder cut had reshoots. Like that
Yeah.
wasn't a director's cut.
Right.
It had reshoots.
Yeah.
So yeah,
There
but
there wasn't like a cut laying on his couch at home. Like they had to go back and reshoot everything. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, well, not everything, but like,
Well, yeah.
yeah, they reshot a lot. Like a lot of that, what we saw was new footage, like stuff that was not there.
Right.
So yeah, unless you plan on reshooting the Suicide Squad movie, which I really doubt that WB is gonna be down for that. Yeah,
Yeah.
just let go. We got
Let
a
it
good
go.
Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah,
We
we do.
got one.
We got a really good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gaming news. Oh, this is always fun. Paramount's global senior vice president for games and emerging media said that this week they're currently working on a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle video game. This game will be based on the popular comic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin, and is aiming for similar gameplay and RPG elements like the new God of War series. No talk of release date, but it's said to be years off, and I'm said to be holy shit. I cannot wait.
Yeah, it sounds dope, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, we got the Shredder's Revenge this year or last year, so this is like taking Turtles to the next level. Why not? The Last Ronin, you know, you're is like some serious shit. So let's get a game like that.
It's also, I always thought that Turtles really worked in that arcade style because that arcade style is very co-op centric.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is a chance to do a single player narrative driven game.
Yeah.
And it works because spoilers for the first 5 seconds of the comic, 3 turtles are dead. Like there's only one
What?
left.
The Last Ronin? What do you mean? There's no
I
other turtles.
should have said that. Spoilers for the title of the book.
The
But
Last.
yeah, so they could actually do something cool here. And then they got that I'm always like a week behind on this book, but I've been reading that Last Ronin, The Lost Years.
Uh huh.
And that's the last Ronin. I won't spoil who the last Ronin is, but that's the last Ronin prior to the events of the original comic after his brothers and Splinter die and what he does to get to that moment and like him going through training. So they could literally just do the last Ronin story and then flash back to these moments, and that's how you like learn new techniques
Mm-hmm.
because he's
Oh yeah.
literally going to like different masters and learning new techniques and trying to hone his skills and everything.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
it could work really well, and they could still keep the big reveal without like, I mean, I'm sure it'll get spoiled in some like trailer or something, but in terms
Oh
of the
yeah.
game, they could keep it
Mm-hmm.
like within the first 2 hours, and then everybody could be like, "Oh my god, it's
What?
so and so."
It's
Yeah,
Casey. It's Casey. Everybody. That's who.
it's really Casey in a giant
Casey.
rubber turtle suit. Yes,
Running around with a ninja sword.
that'd been such a
Yeah.
better story.
I know what the fuck. I just think about that. I'm like, hey, you caught me.
If you haven't read Last Ronin, and you're even, I'm not the biggest Turtles fan.
No, I
I
need
think
to
I'm
read
like a
it.
very like minor Turtles fan. It's phenomenal.
I gotta
It's
read
really
it.
great. Yeah.
Comic news. While discussing the Snyderverse screening coming to SnyderCon, director Zack Snyder, not Scott Snyder, everybody, discuss. I feel like you're missing the opportunity to have more Snyders there, though, like Scott Snyder, right? I mean, why would Scott Snyder should at least get an invite to Snyder?
Yeah, it should be a panel. It should be the
Yeah,
Snyders.
the Snyders, and
Maybe
then
you
you
can bring
get
Dean Snyder in.
Dean Snyder and then Snyder's Pretzels to
Yeah,
supply
it
the
should be
snacks.
sponsored by Snyder's Pretzels.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Anyways, director Zack Snyder discussed the potential of continuing his story in comic form. What? He said that there was a time there was that sort of desire, and now that this new movie, Rebel Moon, will expand into other media like comics, anime, so on, Snyder doesn't rule out the possibility of coming back to it one day, but it would require a want from the DC Comics to invest in the project, stating, quote, I would really enjoy that if it was a possibility, end quote. So he would do it if DC wanted him to, but he's kind of busy with some other shit.
Yeah. Realizing that when I wrote this, I never added that we're talking about the Snyder, the Justice League.
Justice
movies.
League, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, this is something we brought up like a million times, like as what we thought he should do. So it's really nice to hear that like smart people with money were like, yeah, this is a good idea. That always makes me
Right.
feel good about myself.
Yep. It just took them
I
longer to figure it out, you know?
yeah, I'll bet you. I mean, how many years since it's been like 2 years since the
I think so.
Snyder Cut came out?
Yeah.
Give it an anniversary. Give it a 5 year. I think 5 years. 10 years, I think people will be done though, because we'll be into the James Gunn verse and we'll be like,
Yeah.
okay, like
We'll already have
this is what a
Justice
good
League.
DC movie is like. Okay,
Yeah. We'll have another
no
Justice
offense.
League by then, hopefully, but
I think in 3 years, yeah, we'll see an announcement of something like he's going to finish the story in comics, and we'll get like 12-issue series.
yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Marvel announced this week that Adam Warlock is coming back in the form of one of the publisher's limited series set in continuity of the 1990s. Wow. And the cover looks like a 90s cover. I was going to say that, even with the font and everything. The series will be called Warlock Rebirth, written by Ron Mars and art by Ron Lim. The series will include Adam's female counterpart, Eve Warlock, whose origin and connections to Adam Warlock are currently shrouded in mystery. That's a cool cover. I just like it because it's like totally 90s. And I would say that means he's showing up soon in the movies, right? Along with Guardians 3.
Yeah, I wonder if this is connected though, because like Marvel's been doing this thing, and I think what it is instead of paying people royalties, which this is a very valid criticism of Marvel, like they're really bad with royalties for the movies, where DC's actually really good with this.
Yeah.
But it seems like instead of paying them for royalties, they're telling them like you can play with your old like stuff you created, and like just we'll give you a paycheck for it, and just do this. Because I don't think these books do that well. I mean, I'd never seen them chart or anything like that. That being said, I love me some Adam Warlock.
Yeah,
I am down for this. 100%.
I'd probably check it out. Yeah, I'd probably check it out. I'll check out the first one.
Also, in case nobody caught it, Adam Warlock, Eve Warlock, Adam Eve. Huh?
Adam Eve. What? Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, it looks cool. I like the art. I love that like Infinity Gauntlet era of Marvel that Jim Starlin, who we'll be talking about later, did, and Ron Mars was a part of it too. So I'm actually excited for this one. I think it looks cool.
Yeah, Ron Mars coming back. IDW is bringing a new series to its IDW original line called Brinemore. The series will be written by Steve Niles, art by Damian Worm. It'll focus on protagonist Mark Turner, who returns home after a bad divorce to reconnect with his daughter and ancestral roots. The creators of the comics say it'll be a gothic horror series, and yeah, it looks that way. The cover looks very menacing with a church. It's black, white, and red. I'll probably check this one out.
Yeah, I enjoy Steve Niles' work. I mean, he did that recent book, A Town Called Terror. Everybody knows 30 Days of Night.
Yeah.
Like one of the seminal vampire books in comics.
Yep.
So I'll give it a shot. Like I said, I always enjoy his work, even though I'm not a huge horror fan. It's weird that he's like on that list of guys I really like. So the cover's cool. And IDW Originals, man, they're killing it.
Yeah, this next announcement, it just made my week. IDW announced a new Godzilla comic series coming this summer. Everybody knows I love Godzilla. This series will be written by Frank Thierry with art by Inaki Miranda. What is unique about the series is set in the 1500s, before humanity had traveled the globe and monsters ruled the seas. The series will be titled Godzilla, Here There Be Dragons. And I almost feel like you have to say the title in a pirate accent of like, Here There Be Dragons, because there's a pirate ship on the cover with Godzilla. And no, it's not poor grammar. It is that is just how the pirates would speak. So I mean the cover is phenomenal. I love the colors and the Godzilla, and it's even that like old school like 1950s original Godzilla body shape. I think it looks awesome.
It looks like the poster to a 1950s movie too. Like
Yeah,
that looks like what you would see when like you're like Godzilla's coming to the theaters. Maybe a little bit better to be fair, but
yeah,
like it's got that
right.
like style to it.
Yep,
This
yeah,
is the first time I think ever I've been excited for a Godzilla comic. Like it's such a dope concept.
yeah.
Frank Thierry is a really good writer. I cannot say I'm familiar with Inaki Miranda's work, but
Nope.
we will find out. Yeah, everything here looks cool. I will be picking this one up 100%. It just,
Yeah,
I think everybody out there, if you Google the book and you look at the cover, that's like if that doesn't sell you, I don't know what
right.
will because it's so good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah,
And I don't think anybody ever questions the fact of like how Godzilla stands in deep water. You don't need to question it.
these
He
are
just
questions we don't ask, Mike.
he
Like
just paddles his little feet and he's good to go.
he's like a yeah, it's like a duck. You know, and a duck's just sitting there nice and the feet are going like this.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly. Um, yeah, that's it. Let's talk about what we read this week.
let's do it.
Stargirl and the Lost Children #5. Jeff Johns and Knock on the art. All right, this is the issue before the finale. The big fight happens where they're breaking the kids that have been abducted out of prison. Um, and we know that the person to come like steal the children or like abduct them or whatever he says he's trying to save them from some unknown disaster. It's Our Man, so that's another pretty interesting part of the story. Um, and at the end of it, he's like, "I'm the only one who can save them," which is a twist. But the tease for the next issue was it says young. It's called Young Justice Society. So there's some weird stuff going on here with Our Man trying to save them, and now there's a Young Justice Society. So time is out of whack. The story ended up being really good. Um, I really liked it. So
I ended up finding out recently. I don't know if this is originally solicited or not, but I feel like it wasn't. I ended up
mhm.
finding out that the JSA book's a 12-issue maxi series,
I had no
not an
idea.
ongoing.
I no, I didn't. That was not originally solicited.
Yeah, I don't believe it was. So I'm wondering now you say that it clicked that like maybe these two books are colliding in some way and are going to be its own book where like
Hopefully,
yeah.
JSA Universe.
Yeah, or yeah. Maybe they like bring them back to making them Earth 2 and or so I
Yeah.
don't know. We'll see, but like that gave me like thoughts of like what could they be doing with these two books if they're
All the
creating a young Justice League or Justice Society and then
what if
yeah.
so the Young Justice Society is gonna become like JSU instead of Justice League or Justice United. It's gonna be like Justice Society University or something, and they're all the sidekicks get put into school together or something. Just like X-Men. Swamp Thing, Green Hell, #3, Lemire and Mankey on the art. The final battle was cool. This wraps up everything. Animal Woman shows up and she's like completely friggin' metal and awesome. Constantine does this really cool thing where he trades his soul with Lucifer to give the Swamp Thing more power because he's been cut off from the green. He then goes to destroy the green and the red and says, "I'm going to let humanity decide for itself." It ends with the like "life finds a way" quote, which was kind of cheesy because it's from Jurassic Park, kind of on the nose. But overall, it's good. I just wish we didn't have that huge delay. You know,
Yeah. I completely forgot this book came out this week, so I didn't get to pick it up.
oh, it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, why would you remember? Because it was like 6 months after the first issue. Superman 2, Williamson and Campbell. This was an awesome issue. Talked about Parasite evolving. Yeah, there you go. And he does in the issue. He's now infecting people like zombies. I thought it was a cool twist on, an old school villain. He gets to Superman because he infected Lois Lane, and he's like looking for Lois, and Lois infects him. Then we get this intro of a brand new character, everybody. Marilyn Moonlight, a new anti-hero. She only operates at night. Pretty cool design, and she looks a lot like Moon Knight. um,
Yep.
which is fine. I thought she was pretty dope and very mysterious. But yeah, I thought that was a cool character.
I liked it all together. I liked the evolution of Parasite, like doing something
Yeah,
different with them and
that
everything.
was cool. Yeah,
The moon. I'm just gonna call her Moon Knight. The
yeah,
Moon Knight thing was funny to me. I thought it was a cool design and everything. And like, I'm
yeah.
not gonna shit on them for like they stole Moon Knight because like Moon
Right,
Knight they stole Batman. Like, okay.
right.
I just thought it was kind of like a cop out that like mysteriously this thing pops up and like I can give you moonlight and now you're
Right.
powered back up. I'm like, okay, like if that's what we're doing, that's what we're doing. Okay.
Yeah,
Hopefully she pops up again. They explain this, but it was just kind of weird in that moment. Like just out of nowhere, this thing pops up and can just repower Superman.
yeah. And it was really like a mixture of Moon Knight and Sailor Moon because fighting evil by moonlight uh, is kind of in this character's repertoire too, I guess.
Yeah, with a little bit of Old West because she was a cowboy,
I
cowgirl.
almost thought it was. You know who I thought it was when she popped up? I thought it was. Oh my god, not the Spirit,
Jonah Hex,
not Jonah Hex. I thought it was. Oh my
Lone
god,
Ranger.
not the Lone Ranger. Who's the cop with the pistols? That's like a ghost. Stranger. Is it not Phantom Stranger?
The
There's
Gray
another,
Ghost.
not Great Ghost. There's Renee Montoya. What's her alter
Oh,
ego?
the Question.
The Question. Yeah, well, I was thinking of Phantom Stranger. Yeah, the Question. I almost thought it was going to be a character like her. I had no idea what was going on, and then I was like, oh, that's a completely new character. Um,
It would have been
but either
funnier
way,
now that I think about it if they just retconned Gray Ghost to be like
yeah,
have
that'd be.
moon powers. It's like
Yeah, we
why?
need
Because we wanted it.
we need a Gray Ghost book. That'd be amazing. Um, Batman Superman World's Finest number 13. Mark Waid, Dan Mora. Dude, this issue, I love it. I love this series. This book, this felt like a classic old school Batman Superman team up book. I loved it. We start off the issue like we didn't like they start off the issue like you missed last issue, like, oh, I can't believe we wrapped it up like that, and like, and you guys had swapped bodies, and I'm like, I want to see that issue. What the hell?
I
So
literally re-downloaded because I buy this one digitally. I
yeah,
re-downloaded 12 to be like, wait, what happened?
yeah, exactly. Me too. No, I flipped back to 12 and I was like, okay, he was messing with us. Uh, Bruce Wayne is taken into custody because they think he murdered Simon Stagg, and he was investigating Metamorpho because we actually get the origin story of Metamorpho. Really liked it, and Metamorpho's doing his own thing. He had some bad blood with Simon Stagg. He didn't kill him, but it looks like he did. But at the end, they arrest Bruce Wayne for some reason, and I think it was funny because like Jimmy Olsen's doing the reporting and like finds out, like it links it all to Bruce Wayne. So there's a lot of like classic things going on in this issue of like Jimmy Olsen actually being a reporter, and like the classic like Batman Superman team up stuff, and getting someone like character like Metamorpho involved who we don't see quite a bit, and like
Yeah.
diving a little deeper into the character rather than like having him show up to punch somebody. I thought it was a great issue.
Also, just the twist, like they spend the whole issue being like, it's Metamorpho. Metamorpho killed him. Metamorpho has
Mm-hmm.
the beef with him. Like that's,
Mm-hmm.
and then at the end when, so I don't think you said, but Jimmy actually writes the article and
Yeah.
like does a lot of the research, and he comes to the conclusion that it's Bruce, but you don't find that out to the last page. And when he hands it over to Clark and said, because Clark has to like actually write out the article, and he hands over to Clark, he's just like, it can't be him. It can't be him. And the entire time you're like, you're thinking it's Metamorpho.
Right. Right.
And then Perry White
Bam.
goes, how do you know it's not him? And he's like, I can't tell you. He's like, well, then it's going to print.
Yeah.
and get to it, and then you flip the page, and it's such a great reveal. I mean,
Yeah,
such a great.
classic,
This is some
classic
of the
comic book.
best Mark Waid in years, probably
Oh
since
yeah,
his Daredevil run.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's doing some
it's
crazy shit here. It's amazing. Yeah,
yeah,
he's tying things to old storylines. He's making new storylines. He's bringing in old characters that we don't see a lot. I mean, yeah, this is the Batman Superman book I want.
yeah.
I don't want it to leave. So keep it on for 50 more issues, please.
And I'll say I just did my orders for 3 months from now. Just ordered the Shazam book.
Hmm.
So excited for him to take over Shazam.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
No,
Yeah, Mark Waid, such a great writer. Uh, Deceased, War of the Undead Gods, issue 7. Tom Taylor, Harrison on the art. Nice. Lots of fighting. There's a cool scene where Cyborg absorbs Brainiac. So that was pretty sick. He gets in a fight with Brainiac and he's like, "You think you're, stronger than me," and like absorbs him. So we get like this hybrid Brainiac cyborg. He and then he uses Brainiac's power to release the Kandor City, uh, and like release all the fighters, all the Kryptonians or whatever, souped up people. And then Spectre gets, so the cure arrives and they give it to Spectre, and everybody starts getting cured like throughout the issue. And then Darkseid is cured, and they have to like explain to him what happened. Like, oh yeah, you were being possessed by someone else. And basically, at the end of the issue, Darkseid's like, okay, we should all go fight Erebos because I'm pissed now. So they're all going to like take the fight to Erebos, who was actually behind the um, the anti-life equation in the storyline. So I thought it was overall a good issue, and then next issue will be the last one.
yeah, I love the Alfred stuff throughout the issue, and I
Mm-hmm.
love the last page where they're like, and we have to team up with our mortal enemy, and it's Darkseid.
This is Darkseid. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty awesome.
it's really, I'm so excited for that last issue.
Yeah, I can't wait. And that's all I had this week. Oh, at least that's all I got to.
Sorry, I was trying to look something up to make sure I don't make an idiot of myself when we talk about this book,
Uh-oh.
but I can't find it. So we're going to talk about Vanish number 5 to start with.
Yeah, I didn't read that one yet.
Donny Cates, Ryan Stegman. First issue, I'm not like super hot on. It was okay.
Mm-hmm.
We do kind of this back and forth where one of the other magicians is kind of fucking with his mind, and he's making this fake world where he's in an insane asylum, and everything that happened in the last 4 issues was fake. And it's, I don't know, it's been done. I mean, I read Batman plenty of times, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
And then we get kind of a glimpse of who it is. And the entire time he's trying to get back to his wife, as he's kind of going back and forth between this fake world and the real world, not knowing which is which. And kind of get the reveal at the end that he goes home and they've already gotten to his house to find his wife. So good issue. Not, I mean, the other ones have been so good that I'm not like disappointed that this isn't the best issue, because I've been loving the series.
Mm-hmm.
What I was referencing is that it says Vanish issue 6 coming soon. Pre-order your local comic shop. I don't think Vanish issue 6 has even hit Substack yet. So
Oh,
I'm just
interesting.
going to say, everybody, don't hold your breath on that happening anytime soon. With
Okay.
everything going on in Donnie's life,
Yeah.
allegedly in Donnie's life. He hasn't come out officially and said, there's just rumors, but Donnie hasn't put anything out other than Vanish, and Vanish was a book he did like a year ago. So
Right.
he just did it for Substack, and now it's releasing. So, but yeah, good series. I really hope it continues. I hope whatever's going on with his life, he fixes it and comes back to comics. Because I love his work. I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, wish him all the best.
Blue Book number 2. So we get the family, the husband and wife who saw the aliens,
Mm-hmm.
and they try to contact the Air Force to tell them what's going on. After they get home, they kind of do some experiments to figure out if they're just crazy or not. And they kind of come to the conclusion that they did see something. So they call the Air Force. They kind of poo poo it, and that's when the wife kind of gets into reading about flying saucers and everything, and coming to find this other organization from an old colonel that deals with this, and they decide to call them. So it's one of these books that not a ton happens, but it's kind of relaying real life events and telling this kind of somewhat dry story. So I would say it's not for everybody, but if you like aliens and conspiracy theory stuff, it's a really fun book.
Nice.
And then the back, there's always like a second story in these two. And it's about these two kids who come to this town in the 1600s. Oh, I'm sorry. 1150 AD is when the story takes place. And it's an old folk tale about these two kids who come from like basically a parallel dimension because they're green.
Okay.
And kind of their life and all this, and them kind of converting to Christianity and everything, and then growing up and doing all this stuff. And it's based on this old folk tale from the wool pit in Suffolk, England.
Okay.
Kind of brought to
Never heard of
life.
that.
So yeah,
That's
it's
cool.
I've never heard it before, but it was an interesting story, for something I never heard before. And then my last one was Order and Outrage #1. This is Jim Starlin and Rags Morales on art.
Nice.
So it's a Jim Starlin, sci-fi book. It's exactly what I expected, exactly what I wanted. He deals with religion, he deals with totalitarianism, and in a sci-fi setting. And we get kind of this order that is going around exterminating people that they seem genetically inferior. Tell me if any of this sounds familiar to you, Mike.
Yep, a little
And
bit. Just a little bit.
and all the while, we've got this like space ship that is hovering over this planet, and people who are working on it. And we get kind of real life moments with them and how they feel like they've been lied to with what they were told was going to happen and everything. They're set on these, like this woman's basically a scientist, and she's been put on security duty. So she's like really upset. She goes, I have all these degrees and everything. Why am I doing this? Meanwhile, people are being killed on this planet. I will say, as not a spoiler, but a warning for anybody if this is a thing that shocks you. But more penis than I expected.
All right.
I'll
actually buy the book now.
There's
More bang
a
for your
moment
buck.
where this couple goes back, like these two people, I'm assuming are gonna be like one of the main characters or two of the main characters, go back to their like apartment or whatever, and they're like, we're gonna bang, and then it flips to after they banged, and the dude's just like hanging dong left and right in this.
Nice.
Like I said, not bothering me. I'm just saying more penis than I expected. To be fair, when I open up a comic, I usually expect no penis.
I expect 1.5 because like one is expected, then the two is like okay, but like half. Okay, I can understand.
But there's also something in the background. There's some sort of like resurrection of gods going on that they hint at, but then quickly fall away. So this first issue is a lot of world building. But I really enjoyed it, and I know, Mike, you're a fan of Rags Morales, so I don't got to tell you, but the art is phenomenal.
Yeah, Rags. Identity Crisis. Amazing art.
Yeah. So if you are a Jim Starlin sci-fi fan, I highly recommend it.
Cool.
If you're a sci-fi fan in general, I think you'll get something out of it, but particularly to us crazy people who love Jim Starlin.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mike, that was everything I read this week. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Fortress Ricker on Twitter. Where can they find you and or the show?
You can find me at Fortress Chris on Twitter. Also at Fortress Comic. Or I'm sorry, you can find the show at Fortress Comics _ on Twitter. Also at FortressComicNews.com. Remember, everybody, to like, subscribe, share, comment down below on the YouTube version. As they say, smash that like button.
Smash.
And if you are an audio listener, the podcast reviews do help a ton. So do that, especially if you're on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts. And if you want to go the extra mile, not only do we have the Patreon at patreon.com/FortressComics, but we also have the affiliate links down below. So you can check those out and you support the show while doing it. So thank you all so much for watching and listening this week. And I will see you all here next week.
See you.